My name is Toya, and I'm a member of the International Socialist Alternative in the United States. Here in the US, we are constantly on the defense when it comes to women's reproductive rights. One would think that because of the Supreme Court decision called Roe v. Wade in 1973 that gave women access to safe and legal abortions, that we would not still be struggling. But unfortunately, this is not the case. In many states, there's legislation that is attempting to be put forward that would basically make an abortion illegal. Last year in the state of Alabama, they said that abortion was illegal at any stage of the pregnancy, except when the mother's life was at risk. And if a doctor attempted to give an abortion, they would serve 99 years in prison. Also, there are a number of states that have these so-called heartbeat bills, which don't allow an abortion after you can hear a fetal heartbeat. And that usually happens within 6 to 8 weeks of a pregnancy, and most women don't even know they're pregnant at that time. There are millions of dollars going into programs that are faith-based, which they're basically anti-abortion services that force women to listen to the heartbeat and then make them wait a week before they can actually receive the abortion. And many school systems throughout the US that are in Republican-dominated areas are teaching abstinence instead of safe pregnancy and STD prevention. These Republicans are the same people that are cutting funding for programs like food stamps and do not want to raise the minimum wage. In the US, the average cost of childcare for one infant is $1,230. But they don't seem to consider things like this when they force decisions upon a woman's body. And even though we're seeing legislation like this being put forward, only 14% of Americans actually support laws like we're seeing in Alabama. And 2/3 of Americans want to keep abortion safe and legal. With the relatively recent appointment of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court, this was a huge blowback for the women's reproductive rights movement. This man, who is a known sexual predator, is absolutely anti-choice when it comes to reproductive rights, and he will do everything in his power to overturn Roe v. Wade. But it is not just the conservative Republican Party that is looking to take away a woman's right to an abortion. There are leaders within the Democratic Party who are either anti-choice themselves or they take this like middle ground approach. And the Democratic Party has done nothing to help defend the 1973 decision. In the 70s, that was an actual movement, a fighting women's movement that won the access to abortion. But right now, Americans are beginning to stand up and fight back. In 2018, we saw the most strikes since 1968. These strikes were mainly concentrated in sectors that are dominated by women, sectors like teachers, nurses, and hotel workers. These actions really show the way forward when it comes to make change, and the labor movement plays a crucial role in this by unifying the working class to fight for the things that we need. Things like childcare, things like universal health care, which here in the US we call Medicare for all. Actually, today in my hometown of Boston, Bernie Sanders he had a rally and said that if he were elected president, he would expand funding and access to Planned Parenthood, which is the largest provider to working class women for non-abortive family planning. The Me Too movement has played a huge role in the consciousness around women's issues. And right now, because of it, we're in this like new era of what is acceptable, and exposing and convicting wealthy men like Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein are huge victories for the movement. But we definitely need more than that. We need a sustainable movement that's going to help working class women have access to safe and legal abortions. We need to fight and win things like free pregnancy prevention and reproductive health care. And when we are ready and able to begin to build a family, we need universal child care, and we need high quality education for our children. Working class women around the globe, we can inspire each other and learn from each other on how to build these types of movements. So whether that's women in Ireland who are literally changing their constitution, or women in India who are protesting against rape. But unfortunately, under capitalism, as we're seeing here in the US, all of these reforms that we win can be taken away. And that is why we need to take our fights further than single issues and broaden them out to fight against the very capitalist economic system that oppresses us in the first place. We need to fight for socialism so we can have a society that does not profit off destruction and off exploitation. We must build an international working class solidarity against the billionaires and the ruling class. We need to be organized. We need to fight so that we can win.